Hello, toy fans, and welcome back to 13 Days of Halloween! That's right, toy fans, we're back with day 3 of my 2016 13 Days of Halloween countdown, and today, as promised, we're looking at Mr. Sinister from the X-Men Monster Armor wave of figures released by Toy Biz in 1997. And this is the final figure available for me to review from the Monster Armor wave of X-Men figures. So I'm super excited to check this guy out. Now, if you happen to be new to my videos and you're not familiar with the contest I run every Halloween, definitely check the link to the rules in the description below for your chance to win some pretty cool LEGO prizes. But like we saw yesterday with Monster Armor Mystique, this packaging does feature the X-Men logo in the upper left and that awesome artwork of Wolverine in the upper right. There's a blister bubble packaging that does house this Sinister figure inside, as well as his snap-on Monster Armor pieces. Then towards the bottom we have a sticker featuring the figure's name. Flipping the package around, we've got the backstory for this line of figures. The story explains that Mr. Sinister's the one behind the X-Men's monstrous transformation. Below that is an image of Mr. Sinister both before and after his Cybertech armor has been placed on. To the right we have a bio for Mr. Sinister. And towards the bottom we've got a complete lineup of all the figures available in this Monster Armor wave of X-Men figures, all of which I've reviewed at this point. And we've also got a preview of the Electro Spark wave of Spider-Man action figures. Alright, Spook fans, well that's the packaging. Let's get this vampiric look-alike out of the box and see what he's all about. And here we have Mr. Sinister out of the packaging. And for an action figure I've been waiting to get my hands on since childhood, I'm not so sure that the wait has been worth it. The paintwork on this Mr. Sinister figure is a tad spotty all over. His face is okay, but he's got flecks of red paint on his abdomen, his belt isn't cleanly applied, the red on his gauntlets, and even the piping on his boots tend to come off a bit sloppy. Not to mention, the entire figure seems to have this sort of white dust, for lack of better explanation, but perhaps that's just a 20-year-old factory error. Sinister's cape is an interesting piece. He's got a red cowl that goes around his neck, you can pull it off pretty easily, and you've just got this set of 6 straps on the back that do articulate around. They're not really meant to do much more though than just kind of hang there. That's basically how Mr. Sinister's costume typically looks. I do think I would have preferred a dark blue paint applied to the outside of this collar, however. It makes sense for it to be red on the inside, but on the outside I think it just doesn't quite work. Now the figure itself does actually have more articulation than we're used to seeing with the Monster Armor line of figures. Sinister's head is capable of looking left and right. He's got a rotation here at the shoulder, rotation at the wrist, waist rotation. He's got the female-style swivel cut hips, which are basically useless when it comes to posing the figure. He has articulation at the knee, and that about covers it. Mr. Sinister comes with his, I believe it was called Robotech armor, and it basically sits on the shoulder of the figure. You wriggle him through this chest piece, which is actually kind of difficult. And what you can see here that there's actually some braces, I guess, that go around the base of his neck, but you really have to shove them in there, and I'm kind of worried that it's going to break the figure. If I push too hard, it gets stuck on his ears, and that's part of the problem. I wish that the chest piece was actually separate from the back harness that you're trying to wriggle him into. And after some frustrating finagling, I've managed to get that armor piece on. It does actually articulate. There's some sort of 5-screen readout here on the left that can move just kind of around on a peg joint. He's got a helmet that actually lowers down over his face. It is a translucent red plastic for the eyes, but he can't really look for it. It's painted completely opaque on the other side. And then he's got this giant arm. It does articulate at the elbow, which is kind of interesting. And each one of the fingers actually articulates on this thing as well. But it is very side heavy, as you can imagine. And unless that hand is on the ground, this Sinister figure is going to fall over right away. Frankly, his armor just seems very cumbersome, and I'm not impressed. One of the fun things about the Monster Armor line is seeing all of your favorite X characters reimagined as grotesque creatures. We don't have that same sort of fun and imagination with this Sinister figure, and I find it disappointing. To make matters worse, once Sinister's tech armor has been removed, he's standing in a very awkward stance. And his position is only made worse by the fact that he doesn't have any elbow joints, so this arm is always going to be sticking out to the side. I don't know, for me, it's just not working. Height-wise, Mr. Sinister does stand just a little bit over 5 inches tall. For some size comparison, here he is compared to another Mr. Sinister from Toy Biz, the Marvel Legends version. And here he is compared to the 6-inch scale Marvel Legends Infinite series Wolverine. Alright, toy fans, well that's my review of the X-Men Monster Armor series Mr. Sinister figure released by Toy Biz in 1997. Overall, I've made it pretty obvious at this point, I'm not a big fan of this figure. and based on my research leading up to this review, he's one of the harder figures to find to boot. If you're not looking to be a completionist and finish off all the figures in the Monster Armor wave, I'm gonna say you go ahead and skip this one. I think Toy Biz really missed out on an opportunity to go full-on vampire with Mr. Sinister, and come up with a really cool and twisted creation. Well, that's my review, Toy fans. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, do me a big favor and give this video a big thumbs up. And here's your chance to enter my contest. Let me know in the comments below, who's your favorite vampire? And I'll be back tomorrow with another Halloween-themed review. Want a second shot at some more prizes? Head on over to Disney Dan's channel, check out the video you see below, and leave a comment. Let Disney Dan know what other LEGO Fast Build videos you'd like to see brought to his channel. And good luck!